Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very exciting and new, I guess, series. We're going to do more than one because most of us are going to London. I'm sorry, Japan. We went to London already. We're going to Japan for the second world tour for the Cubs. And I've got the expert, for us at least, on Japan and Tokyo, former supervisor with the Cubs, Nancy Sullivan. Actually, no, Nancy, you're not Sullivan anymore, right? It's no longer Sullivan, right?
I'm what?
You're no longer Sullivan. You're not your last name
I
anymore.
am still
Oh,
Sullivan.
you are? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, wait, Nancy, is your name still Sullivan? Okay, yes, it is. So
Yeah. Eric's
Nancy,
last name's Olszewski, and like people see an S, a Z, and a W together and they kind of freak out and don't know what to do with that. So it was just easier to keep Sullivan.
good, good. Now it's funny because when we got on here, I said to you, I said good morning, and you're like, it's not morning here. So right here in Chicago right now is 8 a.m. What time is it there?
It is 10 p.m. here.
So just off the back, if I fly, if anybody's flying to Japan on, for example, a Monday morning, 8 a.m.,
Hmm.
what time will they actually land so they're leaving right now on a Monday at 8 a.m. They will land in Japan at what time?
Well, it depends. I mean, that's a really complicated question because you're going to have layovers
Right.
and how many stops you're going to make. So that's all based on the booking, but you're going to lose a day on the way here.
That's what I was getting to.
So
Okay.
if
Okay.
you leave on a Monday, you're most likely going to land here on Tuesday.
That's what I was trying to get to. Okay. So, because the games are on Tuesday and Wednesday there. So, for those of you that are flying around, I wanted to keep that in mind. But I've got Nancy here. Nancy here. Today's episode is about Nancy telling us. Um, I asked her for top 10. Hopefully, we get through all of 10. But what are some things that we need to know for those of us that are planning to travel to you say in London because I went to London last time. I went to Tokyo for the first to Japan for the first time. So I want to turn over to Nancy. I'll jump in with questions that I have, but she prepared a very good list. I saw the list of things that we need to know that are planning to travel to Tokyo. So take it away, Nancy.
So, the first thing that I think people should be aware of is, and this is something we just touched on, it is a long flight.
Yes.
You are probably not going to fly direct. I think from O'Hare, you can fly direct to Tokyo, but most flights, there's a layover somewhere. Um, with that really long flight, on the way there, you're going to lose a day, but on the way back, you'll leave on, let's say you leave on Friday, you're going to get home again on Friday. So you most likely will not lose that day, depending on the itinerary that you picked. I personally like to look at the seat configuration before you purchase your tickets because it is a long flight. I personally like to have the configuration where there's only two seats together on the sides. So like when Eric and I fly together, it's just us. Nobody's got the middle seat, so nobody's like stuck in that middle for 12 hours or however long that flight is.
That's a good point.
So yeah, look at the seat configuration. It once again, it's a really long flight. You probably want to do premium economy or better. You don't want to be in that middle seat for a long time. Bring a jacket, bring some snacks. It's a long flight. Sometimes the food's not that great.
Okay. All right.
Um, so when you're booking your flight, there's two airports in Tokyo. There's Narita and there's Haneda. I typically fly into Haneda. A couple reasons. The airport on the like there's an airport that the public shares with the base here in the town that I live in, Iwakuni. But they only fly two places. They fly
Okay.
to Tokyo and they fly to Okinawa, but they only fly into Haneda Airport. So I most typically fly into Haneda, and that's kind of the equivalent of Midway Airport. So it's smaller. It's closer to the city. It's only like 13 miles from downtown Tokyo, whereas Narita's more like your O'Hare, and it's like 40, maybe 45 miles from downtown Tokyo.
Okay.
So you're gonna, weigh that kind of thing. Haneda's a little easier to navigate because it's smaller. Both airports, you're gonna probably take public transportation. You don't want to book a taxi from Narita. It's gonna cost you $200.
Ooh, okay.
So there are trains that will take you from either airport to the downtown area, and I would go public transportation. Even Uber is going to be $200.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So any questions about, am I going in the right direction
Yes,
here?
yeah, perfectly good.
What
I,
you're
I was gonna,
thinking?
I was gonna ask when you said $200, you're saying $200 US. I'm just curious about
Yes.
the. Okay,
Yeah, $200 US.
okay,
Oh, so then yeah, so if I'm going to spend $200 on a taxi, I could take the train from Haneda for about $7 US.
oh,
And it's going to be faster because sometimes the traffic is really bad in Tokyo, and if you're stuck in traffic, that meter's just running
okay,
on the taxi. So just take public transportation. It's fast, it's clean, it's safe. It's easy to use. So I actually
oh,
have
perfect,
card. So
perfect.
this is my this one, it was upside down. So this is the one I use most frequently.
Okay,
And what's cool about the transportation card, you get this at the airport. There's 3 different ones. So I have this ICOCA card, and then I also have a Passimo card. And then there's another one that's called a Suica card. You just buy them at the airport. Suica actually has a tourist card that you get the card for free. Like my card, I had to put a 500 yen deposit down on it.
okay,
But they're all rechargeable.
okay.
And what's cool about it, unlike in the United States, like you go to San Francisco, you need to buy a San Francisco card. You go to, LA, then you need an
Yeah,
LA card. These cards are usable in the entire country of Japan.
okay,
Like it's rare that, like, I got on a bus in a small town, um, maybe last summer, and they didn't take my card. I had to pay cash. But for the most part, you refill your card or reload it as you need it. And it's good on all modes of transportation except for the Shinkansen, which is the bullet train.
and you get
So
that
that
at
you
the
would
airport.
purchase a separate ticket.
You buy them at the airport. You buy them at the airport.
Yeah, you can get it
Okay,
at the airport. You can just go to the information booth and they'll help you out
okay,
to let you know where you can buy it.
okay,
They
perfect.
might even have it at the information booth.
Okay, I have one question for you. So let's say that I am bringing my luggage with me. Is there a room for like luggage on the public conversation, or should I pack light, or?
Okay, so this is how I pack.
Okay,
I generally only pack half my suitcase.
okay,
So then I can bring back souvenirs. Do not bring a giant suitcase.
okay,
Like
all right,
seriously, do not. Because let's say you're taking the subway. Not all the subway exits are going to have escalators or elevators.
okay,
And some of those subways are really deep.
okay,
And so you get to the bottom, like you're walking down this tunnel and you get to your exit and you look and it's literally 100 stairs. You do not want to be carrying a 50-pound suitcase or a 100-pound suitcase, whatever
okay,
your allowance is on the airlines. You do not want to carry that up the stairs.
okay,
So take that into consideration. Like, can you lift your suitcase up? If you can't lift your suitcase, it's too heavy. If
Okay.
you're planning on going to another city and you're gonna take the bullet train, the Shinkansen, from one city to another, you're gonna have to be able to lift that suitcase over your head and put it in an overhead bin. So, think about, can you lift your suitcase? And you're gonna want to bring stuff back. So, really don't overpack.
Okay. Okay. Got it. All right. What do you have next for us? That's good.
So we talked about the flight, we talked about the two different airports, talked about transportation cards. Okay, money.
Money. Yes.
Yeah, so Japan uses the yen.
Okay.
Right now, the exchange rate is in the US favor. So if you have $1, you're gonna get the exchange rate's about 147 yen. So when I first moved here to Japan, it was about even. So 100 yen was about $1. A couple weeks ago, it was 165 yen to the dollar. So like Japan right now is a bargain. Like seriously, it's a bargain. If you're spending like 1,000 yen, which I always look at as like a $10 bill,
Yeah.
it's really only $7 US. So
Okay.
the exchange rate is,
Perfect.
like really incredible right now for Americans.
Okay. Okay.
And so you can use credit cards anywhere. I think what I would do though before I come is double check with your credit card company
Yes.
that there's not a foreign transaction fee on your credit card. If I was when you don't worry about getting cash ahead of time. Like just when you get to the airport, you can go to 7-Eleven, go to the ATM and pull some cash out.
Okay.
And then it even allows you to choose your denominations. Like, do you want 10,000 yen bills, which is like $100 bill, or do you want them, in 50s, 5,000 yen bills? So I would probably go with smaller bills if I had the opportunity. Cash is king here.
Okay.
So, like I'm not saying take out $10,000 in cash or, 1,000,000 yen or whatever, but you will go places that do not accept credit cards. So even in Tokyo, like if you go to some restaurants, they're not going to take credit cards. It's going to be cash only. Since COVID, that's changed a little bit where they'll take more credit cards, but you're going to want some cash, but don't take a ton of cash out because you're going to pay a foreign, or not a foreign, you're going to pay a percentage of conversion.
Right.
And then when you want to convert it back, you're going to take another hit on that.
Yeah.
So like consider how much cash you really want. For the most part, you're going to use your credit cards. And like I said, just make sure your credit card is not going to charge you a foreign transaction fee so that they take the hit on the exchange. You don't.
Now I know that tipping is big in the U.S. Do you need to for that? And what is the tipping culture there? Do I need to
No tipping. People
Okay.
like if you tip someone, they will give it back to you.
Okay.
And people can actually get fired for accepting a tip. So you don't tip here.
Even at restaurants.
No, you don't
Okay.
tip anywhere.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
when you get to your hotel, if they help you with your luggage, you don't tip. It's insulting to tip people. So don't tip.
Okay. Good to know. Okay.
And people, like literally people can lose their jobs over
Okay.
accepting a tip. It's the culture is we're supposed to do a good job and this is what we're getting paid for. And so you don't have to tip.
Okay, that's good to know. I was worrying about that, but having single dollars to tip, but now that that's out of the way, that's good. Okay.
Well, and that's the other thing that's in, like that makes Japan a bargain
Yeah.
because not only is the dollar stronger than the
Right.
yen, but then you're not putting a 20% tip on top of
Yeah.
whatever your meal is.
Right.
And some people think, like it depends on where you want to eat. If you want to go to some exclusive sushi place, that seats 4 people and the chef's gonna like prepare the stuff right in front of you, it's gonna be expensive. Or if you want to just eat Kobe beef the entire time you're here, you may really pay a lot for your food.
Right.
But I don't think that food is really expensive here.
Okay. All right. Perfect. That's good to know. Okay. Yeah, money and tipping were my main 2 questions, but I feel better now. So I will tap where I can. I'm assuming I could tap on. Well, I want to buy the card. So on transportation, I don't need to tap. I want to have the card. Can I link the card to my credit card?
Yeah, you can actually link the card. Do you have Apple Watch?
I have Apple Pay. I have a watch.
Yeah, so you can link your transportation card to your watch.
Okay.
And when my family came to visit this summer, and my one nephew had Apple Pay on his phone, and he
Okay.
just did that the whole time.
Okay. All
And
right.
he's 14 years old. He was
All right.
so funny because every time he would buy something, he would check his Apple Pay right away and he'd be like, "Oh my God, that was so cheap," because he's
Right.
checking the exchange rate. And
Right.
he bought like he bought himself new Nike shoes here.
Oh my
And
God. Wow.
yeah, and so the exchange rate was in his favor.
Right.
And so things like that, you think about where's the exchange rate at this point?
Okay. Okay. Now you got me ready to shop now. So okay.
Yeah, you can go shopping.
Okay.
But remember the exchange rate fluctuates. It
Right.
fluctuates every single day.
Yeah.
So, you do have to keep an eye on it. It doesn't fluctuate dramatically. It might, 4 or 5 cents
Okay.
a day, but it's not going to fluctuate, 50 cents a
Right.
day.
Okay. Okay. All right. What's next on your list there?
One thing we talked about the other day was hotels or
Yes.
neighborhoods.
Neighborhoods. Yes.
Yeah, so I do have favorite neighborhoods. I've stayed in a lot of different neighborhoods, and most recently, when my brother was here, his flight got canceled in that whole CrowdStrike thing.
Yeah.
And so they had an extra 3 days here. So I came back up, met them in Tokyo, and we stayed near the airport. Those hotels are really cheap, but they're by the airport.
Right.
It'd be like,
Right.
do you really want to stay by Midway Airport? Probably not.
Right.
Like the excitement's not there. Same thing with
Yeah.
Haneda. It's, do I really want to stay near the airport? Probably not.
Right.
But you asked me about Shibuya and
Yeah.
Shinjuku. Both of those neighborhoods they're at really busy train stations.
Okay.
You could get anywhere
Okay.
in Tokyo from those train stations. And it's also kind of that typical Japan that you see in movies where you walk out and there's just like
Yeah.
lights everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
And Shibuya, like there's a new, I forgot what it's called, like it's like a deck that you can
Yeah.
go and look at, the entire city.
Oh,
And that's
like the observatory at the Sears Tower.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
So you can but it's outside.
Okay.
So
All
it's
right.
really nice. And they set up a bar there in the summer. It probably won't be set up in the spring because it's too cold. But we
Okay.
should talk about weather.
Oh yes. Yeah.
And then it's also where that crossing is that you see all the
Yeah.
time. So
Okay.
like the
Yeah.
traffic stops and there's all this,
Right.
everybody's crossing from every direction.
Yeah.
And it's something you should experience once because it's
All right.
just really overwhelming. Shinjuku is like a couple train stops away from Shibuya, and that's where that Kyo Plaza that you were asking me was at. And there, that's kind of near Harajuku, which is where the girls and the, like
Right.
doll dresses and, all those, like, that's more of a younger area. But I like both those neighborhoods. I also like Ginza because that's more of your high-end shopping.
Okay.
Shibuya's got a lot of high-end shopping too. But one thing that's nice about Ginza is on Sundays, they close down the main street and it's just pedestrian traffic. So you can just like walk down the street, go wherever you want to go. And then there's it's also it's within walking distance to Tokyo Station, which that's also a pretty good area to stay at. A few people asked me about staying at Tokyo Dome, and I
Yeah.
have stayed at the Tokyo Dome before. Like we went to go see the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Tokyo Dome
Yeah.
a couple months ago. It's okay, but it's, like it's limited
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
as what you can do in the neighborhood. Like when I'm on vacation in a new city, I like to be able to
Yeah.
just like walk out of my hotel and go walking around.
All right.
And Japan is super safe, like
All right.
really, really safe. I mean, I'm not gonna do something stupid,
Right.
like leave cash like falling out of my pocket or whatever,
Right.
but if you were to and Eric will probably kill me for telling this story, but Eric left his phone somewhere the other day.
Okay.
And this was in Osaka, so almost as big as Tokyo. That phone was still there 10
Wow.
minutes later. I mean,
Okay.
still there.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, if you think about that, in Chicago, that phone would be
Yes.
gone and they would have already reset it and
Yeah.
had it under their name, like
Yes. Yeah.
it's I mean, people are super nice. There was the first time we went to Tokyo, like we went on vacation in 2015 and we're walking down the street with our luggage and there's a sudden downpour and this man came out of his shop and handed us umbrellas,
Okay.
like just out of kindness,
Okay.
handed
Wow.
us umbrellas and Eric's like, "Oh, we'll bring them back." Because our hotel's right down the street. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, don't worry about it." So
Wow.
people are like really friendly. Um, they do what's in others' best interests for the most part.
Right.
Um, it is really safe, but then again, there are certain places in Tokyo that if there's like a hawker out on the street going, "Hey, come into our bar, free drinks,"
Yeah.
don't go.
Right. Yeah.
Because by the end of the night, you're going to have a $2,000 bar bill because
Okay.
the first drink is free
Okay.
and they're going to keep serving you and you really have no recourse.
Right.
Like you're going to owe that money. So be savvy about where you go.
Yeah.
And when things sound too good,
Yeah.
for the most part, the Japanese are very honest.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you were to tip them, they're gonna give you the money back.
Right.
Or Eric for work, they went to this restaurant near the base and the woman accidentally overcharged them and then they didn't go back for like 6 months,
Okay.
he and his coworkers. And when they walked in the door, she said, "I've been waiting for you.
Oh, wow.
I owe you money."
All right.
And Eric's like, "Don't worry about it." She's like, "No, no, I have your money for you." And this
Yeah.
was like months later. So,
Yeah.
people want to do the right thing all the time.
Yeah, I'm going to pick a hotel and post it. 'Cause people ask me where am I staying, they want to stay, together, or where I'm going to pick that soon. I know with the Cubs, I talked to Brian Garza about it because I stayed with the Cubs in London,
Mhm.
very high end. That was like a $7,000 bill at the end, at the end of that week. I probably
Yeah.
won't stay with the Cubs this time, but Brian was telling me that even they don't know what's going on because MLB actually themselves, they're actually in charge of putting all this together. Um, so I'm probably not gonna stay. I'm probably not gonna pay thousands like we did in London, even though the Cubs helped me out with that. But I will announce where I'm staying at so that everybody else can see. And probably, but I want to stay in that area. I can't pronounce it. I want to say Shibuya. I think you said it was called.
Yeah, Shibuya, yeah.
If I was shopping, I might be staying in that section there, but I don't want to lose track of time. But I do want to talk about the weather, so I don't know what to pack because I know we're going to end around 8:30. But what should I pack clothing weather wise?
So it's not super cold, but it's
Okay.
probably going to be about, I would say March is about 50 degrees
Okay.
and the humidity is high. So sometimes that 50 degrees feels a little colder because of the dampness.
Okay.
Um, so you're leaving Chicago in March. You're probably bringing your winter coat anyhow. You might as well bring it with.
Okay.
You might even want it on the plane because sometimes the plane's really cold and you're
Yes.
on that plane for 12 hours. There's
Yes.
nothing worse than being cold for 12 hours.
Yes.
You might want that coat in Tokyo, but definitely bring a fleece. Um, add I always have a little umbrella, like I have a really small umbrella. I always have that in my luggage.
Yeah.
It might rain, it might not rain, but depending on what the temperature is, you could be there for cherry blossom season, which would be super cool
Okay.
because the cherry blossoms are so beautiful. They only last for a week or two.
Okay.
And the forecast for cherry blossoms for next year is beginning March 23rd and being full bloom by the 30th. I don't know how long people are, planning on staying, but if I'm taking that flight and I'm spending that kind of money on a ticket, I'm probably coming for a couple of weeks.
Okay. All right. What else is on your list? Anything else on your list?
So we talked about neighborhoods. We talked about oh, Japanese hotels.
Okay.
Right. So um I probably wouldn't like that one you're looking at, that Daiwa.
Yes.
Um I don't know. That one, APA probably wouldn't do that chain. I don't remember what else you had on your list, but the Japanese hotels are mostly like for businessmen, and the room's super small,
Okay.
and um you know you're on vacation,
Right.
you want a nice room, you can get a pretty, like, a nice American style hotel room for like 300 a night. You can find stuff that's less. You can obviously find stuff that's more. That Keo Plaza that you were looking at,
Yeah.
I think we were paying about 300 a night over the summer to
Okay.
stay there. What's nice about that hotel is it is in a good location. It's easy to get to the train station. Right next to that, there's the Tokyo Metropolitan Building,
Okay.
and they have a rooftop observatory that you can go to for free. And right now they're doing
Ah,
projections on the building. It's super cool, and free. Like, that's really nice.
so
Um,
that was this one here. I don't know if you can see it, but that was this one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Okay.
So I recently
All right.
stayed at that one. So I've stayed there twice, but it is an older hotel and it is huge.
Okay.
Like, it's kind of convention center. Like, if you were thinking Hilton, that Hilton that we always
Yeah.
used to have the
Convention.
Cubs
Yeah.
convention at, or
Yeah.
like maybe even bigger than the Sheridan. So I mean, It's a big place. There's 2 towers, and if I'm booking the hotel, you might want to consider doing breakfast included in your hotel. And this is why. If you like unlimited coffee,
Okay.
you can do that at the hotel.
Okay.
If you try and find what we consider breakfast in Tokyo, it's gonna be hard to find. And a cup of coffee is like this big, and it's like 700 yen, and there are no refills.
Okay.
So, like, if you have a certain expectation for breakfast, you should probably eat it at the hotel, because the Japanese style breakfast is going to be miso soup and some fish and, a salad. It's
Yeah.
not going to be American style breakfast. So you might want to consider booking breakfast at the hotel.
Now, is the twin bed standard? I saw everything I looked at. I saw
Oh my gosh,
twin
yes.
bed.
So for some reason, this is probably why the birth rate is down in Japan, because everyone sleeps in twin beds.
I said that. Okay.
And you can find some king size beds
All right.
or queen size, but it's rare. That Kyo Plaza does have king beds. We have stayed at a king bed in a king bed there. We also like hotel chains that I like. Mercure, which is I believe a French company,
Okay.
and that's owned by a big chain called Accor. So they have like I don't remember all the hotels there, but I like that line, and that brand, and it's generally pretty reasonably priced. You can get a king size bed at a hotel there. I really like Tokyo Stay. So it's not Tokyo, it's Tokyo.
Okay. Oh yeah.
The
Why is
U.
that? I noticed a lot of that. So Tokyo is the same thing. I saw the Tokyo thing.
Yeah, it's different. Like
Okay.
Tokyo and Tokyo are 2 different things, but Tokyo Stay actually has a washer dryer combo in the hotel room.
Okay.
So if you're packing light, you just throw your stuff in the washer and dryer. Laundry takes forever.
Okay.
I'm talking like 3 hours, 4 hours to do your laundry.
Oh wow.
So if it's in your room, you can just do it overnight
Yeah.
and it's ready for you in the morning. That Kyo Plaza does have laundry, but it's on like the 15th floor or something like that, and you have to go up and get it. Some hotels will have a like you can look on your TV to see if the laundry's available, if where your laundry's at, like is it done or whatever, like it'll actually give you a readout on your television in the room.
We have 5 minutes
Mystery
left.
Garden.
You have one more important thing. I want to email you all the rest. I'm going to email you all her whole list when she has it drawn out nicely. But I want to try to email you all her whole list. So if you're not watching this or you mentioned something, I want to email everything out to you all in our email list. But
Okay.
you have one more final thing that we can do that's important that we should know right now.
I would take a look at your phone plan.
Ooh.
So
Yes.
what kind of cell phone do you have? I have T-Mobile. I still have an American cell phone number. I don't use it to call people like in voice calls because it's 25 cents a minute to call, but data's free. Like 5G data is free up to a certain point. Like they never start charging you for data, but like let's say you're on your phone constantly, eventually they're gonna like throttle the speeds. So take a look at what your cell phone plan is. You can rent a pocket Wi-Fi. So it's just like a little box like this. You stick it in your pocket and you get Wi-Fi wherever you're at. That's usually pretty cheap, and you pick it up at the airport, and then they give you a prepaid envelope, and you just drop it in a mailbox to return it.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's one option if you don't have a phone plan that's going to allow you to text and use data on your phone. And then you should probably have a power bank so that you can recharge your phone during the day. So you just stick that in your pocket too and plug in when you need it. But a lot of places will let you, like you'll go to restaurants and you'll see places to charge. You can go to Starbucks and plug in your phone. What else was I going to say about the, oh, and then I would really start practicing with Google Maps. Like one thing I'd never realized in Chicago is like when you're using your Google Map and you get off the subway, it will actually tell you which exits have an escalator or an elevator. And so you're not faced with that. Like I'm getting to the stairs,
Yeah.
my exit that I chose,
Yeah.
and it stairs with no escalator. So like really practice using Google Maps, and you're going to want to use like some kind of translate program because obviously English is not the first language here.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Nancy. And again, we're gonna email these out, and I'm gonna email whatever we didn't get to you all. And in our next episode, we're gonna talk about things that we should some must do's and must things to see in Tokyo and other areas. Nancy wants you to get outside of Tokyo and
Yeah.
see other things. But before we get cut off, Nancy, thank you very much, and I will see you all on the next episode of Traveling to Japan. Thanks, Nancy.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye.